Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Today I would like to create a very quick and simple birthday card for my sister-in-law who happens to like gin, which makes it really easy for me because I'm going to use the Visible Image Keep Your Gin Up stamp set, and I've got the matching dies. I have made cards with these stamps before, so I try to do something that I haven't really done before, and I've recently started making a few more clean and simple cards, and this is inspired by cards I've seen online. I would like to create a colourful panel with these stamps and then die cut probably just the gin glass, but might decide later to put it on top as a topper onto the coloured panel. So I've just picked scraps from my stash here that I had on my desk, cut-offs from other pieces. I know I will cut this down, but I find if I work on a bigger piece first, it makes it easier for me to just stamp along, and then I can choose afterwards where I would like to cut it. So I have chosen, as a colour scheme, I have chosen pink. I have got the VersaFine Clair Charming Pink to stamp, and then I've got this fuchsia and the picked raspberry. These are both suitable for ink blending, but I think I start with a picked raspberry. I haven't used that often. Obviously it's a bit lighter than the fuchsia colour. So, and I'm really want to do just some very basic ink blending. I've got a laminated sheet here that is an old poster from my pub, and that is really helpful to do some ink blending. I will actually turn this sideways. I think that'll be easier. So I'm really just putting colour down. You can pick this one up as well. I don't mind it being speckled or not even. I don't want a solid colour. If I wanted a solid colour, I could just use a solid piece of cardstock, and you can do that too. But I really want this sort of, well, this looks like clouds at the moment. I will add a few water specks in a moment just to bring some interest to the background. Another reason why I like to keep these pieces bigger as well is I like to cut the edges off, because sometimes I find the brushes catch on the edge and then you've got a very distinct pattern there, whereas this way if I cut it afterwards that sort of disappears. So I'm just making sure I put plenty down. I don't want this to be too light. If you've got darker pinks or you prefer other colours, obviously you can use those. So I'm now taking my water bottle. If I can find it, bear with me. So, and I'm just giving my panel just a light mist. You can see how far up I'm holding it. If you want bigger specks, you can also use a brush and a dish. So let me just turn that against the light so you can see this. This now, because this is water reactive, will activate the ink and will create a pattern. I'm just leaving this to dry now. If you wanted to, you could use a heat tool. I might do that because I usually get impatient, but you are likely to have less warping if you leave it to dry just for a moment. I'd say about 20 minutes. In the meantime, I'm stamping my images, or image first of all. I definitely want the gin glass. I think if I put the bottle down as well, I think that would be just too much. And because I'm just stamping on a panel, I'm die cutting from it, I'm just using my acrylic block. I don't really need my stamping platform for that. So, just realised I normally actually put the ink pad on the acrylic block. It doesn't matter which way around, but it is a bit noisier this way. So I'm just checking that I've got enough ink on here, and then I can just stamp this here. I will probably do a wedge here of the citrus fruit as well. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's a nice stamp image. So I will quickly do this off camera. You don't need to see me do this again. And then I will think about whether I actually want to colour this in. I haven't really made my mind up yet whether I want it black and white or whether I want to colour it in. So I decided to keep it black and white. I think it would be quite striking. So I'm just using my dies now. I'm going to align these. I'm getting my tape to tape these down. I just like to use the removable Scotch tape. It's really easy to remove that. Having said that, I usually put the tape on the outside of the die. I try not to actually put it onto the image. Here's my little wedge. I've stamped it twice. If I wanted to, then I could use it twice, cutting it once to start with. So I'm quickly cutting these off camera, and then I'll come back to my original panel. It's only been about 10 minutes, but my panel is nearly dry, so I think I'm okay stamping on it. So my idea is just to use the gin bottle and maybe come in with a citrus fruit or some of these splatters here. I think they could be interesting. And as I said, I'm using the VersaFine Clair Charming Pink. I thought about using the fuchsia for something else to do something blending, but I decided against that, although I showed you that at the beginning. So, and I'm just inking this up thoroughly. I will actually just very quickly stamp this off on a piece of scrap paper, purely because there might be some residue from a project that I did before with some darkering, so no, but that's fine. I know my gin glass has got, it looks stained because I used some stays on ones, but it works fine anyway. So I want this straight, so again I think I'm just turning this sideways, it makes it easier. And I'm just starting here. It's quite easy to put this straight because the bottle's fairly straight. But as I said, I'm going to cut the panel down anyway. So I want to alternate where I'm stamping it. I could turn it upside down as well, but I think this time around I'll just rest it here so that the neck touches the bottom there. Hopefully this is straight. If not, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to continue stamping this. I'm going to speed this up for the video. Yes, I think I'm happy with that. I wasn't quite sure where to place this bottle here, but as I said before, I will definitely cut this out anyway. And I ended up having some black residue there, but it doesn't really matter. Same here, but it's not a problem. So I quickly clean my stamps up, and then I decide on my card size and how much I need to cut down here. I have cut my panel down here to 2 3/4 by, I forgot to write it down, 6 3/4 this is, I think. No, it's not 6 1/4. I had a few ideas that I've just dismissed anyway, but I thought I'd just show you some options. I thought about putting a panel of holographic card behind this just because I happen to have that on my table. And my original idea was to place this behind here and just to have the gin glass here on the side. But I then thought maybe it's a bit too much. It goes a little bit against the clean and simple that I had intended. So I want to show you what it looks like with just this panel. But when I placed it here and thought about where to place my sentiments, I thought it would actually be quite nice to cut this apart, have one square here and one square there, and then place this down. I think I would like this better. This, by the way, is a shop board. It's I want to say 5 by 7 card, but it's not. It's just 4 7/8 by 6 7/8, and it actually, the way it was folded, I had to cut it down a little bit anyway to make it even. But yeah, I will quickly cut this off camera, tell you the measurements again, and then I'll show you what I want to do with the sentiment. Because the card is not square, I decided to actually leave the length and just half this panel. So I've cut this now at 3 1/8 and basically got these two panels. And I have used my corner rounder to round off the corners here. I think this looks so much more pleasing to the eye. I just wanted to show you my sentiment stamps. These are the sentiments, sorry, that are here. When life gives you lemons, open the, and then you've got the gin here. These are straightforward to put on, but the gin is a bit difficult. So when I placed it down here, it's actually quite difficult to work out where it is straight. But if I turn it over to the other side, I can see it a little bit better. It's not a straight word anyway, but at least I want the bottom of the G and the bottom of the N to be in sort of one line. So I'm just checking, and I sort of outlined it that it's sort of centered rather than to one side. Get rid of a cat hair there. And I just want to stamp this here and then place down the panels. I find that easier, so I know the panels won't get in the way. Probably move it down a little bit, sort of there. And remember now, I've got the top of the acrylic block there and about a finger's width there, and then I should get this straight. If you don't know whether, if you're not sure about this, use your stamping platform, but I'm going to risk this now. Sorry for the clacking of my ink pad. So as I said, finger width and top of the stamp there, and placing it down there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I can now glue these panels on. I want these to be flat, but I might put my glass on some foam. I think that would be quite nice. So I quickly do this off camera. I'm just using my magic glue. I find that the best glue for any sort of paper. I will probably just bend these just a little bit before I glue them down, and I think I will also place acrylic blocks on top just to keep these down whilst they're drying. I think I mentioned before that I wanted to give the glass and the slices here some dimension, but rather than faffing around with foam tape, which can be really fiddly on the slim bits here, I have just cut 2 more pieces with the glass die and 2 more pieces for the slices here. So these have got 1 piece of cardstock extra on the back. This one already has got 1 glued down. I quickly did this off camera, but because I want to sit this on the edge here, I don't want this to sit here, I think, anyway, or do I? My idea was to use the third piece, mark with a pencil where it's hitting the line here and cut those bits off. Having said that now, I'm just wondering whether I actually do want it in this area, in which case I don't need to cut that. Yeah, I think I actually prefer that. So forget about the thing with a pencil. That's just a useful tip if you ever want to put yours on the edge. So I'm just quickly gluing this down here now. I'm going to arrange the slices, and I'm having a think whether I want a happy birthday on the outside. If not, I will place it on the inside of the card, and then my card should be finished. So I decided I want my second slice to sit here on the edge, so I'll show you this trick after all. So I'm placing it here where I would like to have it. I'm using my pencil to mark where I need to cut away. Also here. It doesn't matter if I cut a little bit more away, because obviously I don't need to mimic the round corner there. And I can then cut this away. So, and then you've got the option, and I think this will be easier for me now, if I place this down first and then place this on top accordingly. I can see where it goes. I think this is easier than gluing it underneath and then trying to fit it in there. So quickly do this. Doesn't matter if I've got quite a big gap there, it will still give enough stability for this to go on top. And it's best to use a glue that doesn't glue down too quickly, so it doesn't stick down too quickly, so that you've got a bit of wiggle room. I think this is fine now. So I've got this sitting neatly here, and I really like the dimension here. This is 3 bits, this is actually 3 parts, and this is just 2 parts. But yeah, let me just zoom out a little bit. I'm really pleased with this card. As I said, I attempted a more clean and simple. I don't know if this qualifies as clean and simple, but I think it looks really cool without being too girly or too well, too busy. So yeah, I'm pleased with this. And if you like this card too, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.